Okay, I'm going to change keys now. We're going to play over A minor to D7 to G. So we're in the key of G now. And one of the things that I like to play is this scale shape. That is what we'll call G major from A to A. Yes, it's A Dorian. A Dorian is G major. D Mixolydian would be the dominant 7 scale that fits in this key. D7, D Mixolydian, is still just notes of G major. And of course the G major chord. The notes that fit great with that are G major scale notes. All of these groups are G major notes. I like this shape just because it seems to be fairly user-friendly from a player standpoint. So I can play, if I think in terms of the D7 chord, that's the arpeggio D, F sharp, A, C. If I add the chromaticism to this group of notes, I'll put it on I'm going to just put it on that upper octave. I'm not putting the D sharp, the half step between the root and the second of this scale, which is, again, it's the note between 5 and 6 of the parent scale, I'll call it. G major is the key we're in, so the passing tone between D and E is the note between the 5th and 6th scale degrees of this particular key. If I play that note here, I can play it with this finger on this string and slide up because the scale pattern itself has a shift in it. And so I can use that note as the shift, or coming down, I can play the same note on the 3rd string with my 4th finger. That note, E flat or D sharp, is the same as that note, E flat or D sharp. If I slide up with my 4th finger, there's something about that seems awkward to me. Doesn't matter how you play it, just play it. Whatever works for you is the best way for you to do it. Now, if I do a continuation and sort of stay in that shape, moving up and down, I'll need to put that D sharp here to make the line come out right. And so on. The reason why I chose this particular scale is because I want to show some other notes that are commonly added to this group of notes. Other chromatic pitches besides the sort of half-step passing tone that we identify as sort of the basic introduction into the bebop sound. It's not unusual to hear me do something like this. I'm playing a G sharp here going up to A. And that kind of creates the sound of what you might say, oh, well, that's now A melodic minor. And yeah, it is. I just like the sound of that note. Because of the way it resolves and it creates some pull back to the note A, which is part of our framework for our D7 chord. Yes, that structure is part of an A melodic minor scale. I'm playing the G sharp at times and playing G natural at times. So at that point you might think, well, it's not a strict adherence to an A melodic minor scale. So that's sort of my justification for not even acknowledging that it's an A melodic minor scale. I just think of it as a group of notes that happens to have some pull in a certain direction. If I start here, I'm doing the same thing. I'm playing a I'm playing a G sharp that works its way nicely back to A. Now occasionally you'll hear me pause and syncopate a note, and that's because I've kind of gotten the line backwards, so the notes that I need to be on the beats are off by 1/8 note, and I usually will pause and then continue the line. And it comes out as a syncopated line. You just heard me do that. Right there. So as you add a couple of chromatic pitches now to the line, I've added G sharp on the way to A, and I've added the passing tone that comes between D and E, which is that flat 9 sound over the D7 chord. Now I've got a scale that has a couple of chromatic pitches in it, but again, it's not really a strict adherence to those notes, so I'm not really adding those notes consistently. Occasionally I'm adding them as seasoning. So you really need to think of the chromatic pitches that you select and the way you use them as that. Something to decorate the line, something to season, give it some flavor, but I don't think you need to continually try to group very small pieces of the lines you play into a particular scale just to have that label.